Just a reminder of our top story this lunchtime. Ministers have been leaving their weekly meeting in Downing Street. The Prime Minister, Liz Truss, chaired Cabinet this morning after apologising last night for the mistakes she's made since entering number 10. That is it from the BBC News at 1. Goodbye from all of us for today. On BBC One, we'll join our news teams now wherever you are. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Hello, good afternoon. This is BBC London. I'm Frankie McCamley. The family of a man who died after being tasered by 2 Metropolitan Police officers on Chelsea Bridge are launching legal action today. Oladeji Omishaw died in June this year. His relatives say they're taking action against the police watchdog for failing to criminally investigate the officers involved. Just a warning, some may find some of the images in Greg's report distressing.
Happy birthday to you.
41-year-old Oladeji Omishaw, known to his friends and family as Deji, seen here celebrating his birthday. The son, brother and uncle was in the prime of his life. He died shortly after being tasered multiple times in June. A passerby filmed the incident.
The family wanted us to show this footage. Shortly after these scenes on Chelsea Bridge, Deji ended up in the River Thames.
The Metropolitan Police claimed they'd been called out to reports of a man armed with a screwdriver. But in these images, there is no screwdriver. It later emerged Deji, who was having a mental health crisis, had actually been holding a lighter.
Each time we think of the people, the 2 Met police officers that did this to our beloved son, is still allowed to be continue with their normal day job as though they haven't done anything wrong.
Today, the family is beginning legal action against the Independent Office for Police Conduct. They are challenging the IOPC's decision not to hold a criminal investigation into his death, which they believe was unlawful and irrational.
I strongly feel that, police officers cannot continue to conduct themselves without impunity. And the IOPC, the Met Commissioner, they have a responsibility to restore our trust and the public's trust.
In a statement, the IOPC said its thoughts and sympathies remain with the family and friends of Oladeji Omishaw, but says at this stage it has no indication that any of the officers involved may have breached police professional standards or committed a criminal offence.
Greg Mackenzie, BBC London.
Now, it's been dubbed a plastic graveyard lying under the River Thames, with one charity claiming it removes around 200 tonnes of the damaging waste every year. Scientists now believe the river has more microplastics in it than any other river in the world. On the item found is, you guessed it, wet wipes, often flushed down the toilets. Here's our environment correspondent, Tom Edwards.
The River Thames in Fulham. When the tide goes out, it reveals a dirty secret. This is where tons and tons of plastic gets dumped by the river.
And why here? Why does it end up here?
As the slow movement of the river acts on the inside bend, it deposits down onto the foreshore here.
Large bits like this also break down into tiny fragments called microplastics. Researchers say the Thames has the most of any river in the world.
One of the concerns is obviously the fish are swimming along, they're then, absorbing these microplastics, and other animals are eating products that have microplastics in them, and then the public population are eating the fish, eating meat that has microplastics, and it's now getting into our bloodstream as well.
In Elizabethan times, salmon abounded here.
In 1957, the Thames was declared biologically dead. Since then, it has recovered. 125 fish species have been recorded in its waters. Now, though, the issue is plastic.
It's low tide here at the moment at Fulham, and the amount of plastic here is absolutely shocking, actually. There's everything here from cable ties to sunglasses to razors. 200 tonnes of plastic is pulled out of the Thames every year. 80% of it is single use.
So this is a female mitten crab. You can tell by the broad abdomen on the underside.
This crab was caught next to Hammersmith Bridge.
Some of those almost certainly would have come from the breakdown of wet wipes.
This one had tiny fibres of plastic inside, which the crab had eaten. And previously, this is what other experiments found, tangles of fibres inside crabs.
Microplastics, it's virtually impossible to get them out of the environment once they're there. So it's much more effective to try and cut off that plastic getting into the environment in the first place. So a big part of that is trying to encourage people to change their behaviour.
Charities think tougher legislation is also needed.
We'd like to see the government introducing a ban on plastics in wet wipes, and obviously we could do more to eliminate single-use plastics. Manufacturers need to be careful with their packaging and their wording. You know, also they could use products that aren't required of single-use plastics, things that can be recycled.
The Thames is meant to be London's jewel. At the moment, it's a dumping ground for plastic. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
Well, in response to Tom's report, the government says it's bringing in new rules to help tackle plastic pollution. Next time, the last station on the Elizabeth line will open at Bond Street following a series of delays. Carl Mercer has joined the Mayor of London to take a look.
Oh, it's so exciting. I mean, genuinely, I said the word wow when I walked into the station today. I've seen the transformation over the last couple of years in particular, and it's come at just the right time. We're approaching the golden quarter. The shops around here could really benefit with a boost. This is the boost they need.
You mentioned the timing. Actually, it is crucial, isn't it? Particularly this year, of all years, for the centre of town.
Well, it's really important. The great thing about the way these stations have been built is they benefit all of this part of London. They benefit the north of Oxford Street, they benefit the west of Oxford Street, but they also benefit Regent Street up and down as well. Two really good exits at Tottenham Court Road, and two really good exits and entrances at Bond Street. So Regent Street benefits, Oxford Street benefits, but also the shops around Marble Arch benefit as well. And here's the thing, yes, although we've got a weak pound causing real problems in relation to cost of living, it's an opportunity to encourage tourists to this part of London, benefiting our shops, our hotels, our restaurants and hospitality generally.
Finally, as we've been hearing, the BBC is 100 years old. And to celebrate our centenary, famous BBC locations in London are being featured on a new map, as well as some of the main studios. Some lesser-known places are included, like Chiltern Street Fire Station, where the BBC's first female war correspondent, Audrey Russell, worked, and Una Marson's home in Camberwell. She was the BBC's first black female broadcaster. Time to look at the weather now with Kate Kinsella.
Good afternoon. It was a chilly start this morning and quite a misty and murky one too. Lots of our weather watchers posting pictures of fog bows earlier on today. This one in Richmond from Weather Watcher Richmond Rainbow. The light behaves a little bit differently compared to classical rainbows. The water droplets within the mist and fog much smaller, so therefore the white rainbow. This afternoon that fog has gone. We'll see plenty of sunshine, perhaps a little bit of high clouds, some hazy sunshine, and temperatures still warm today at 19 Celsius. There's a bit more of a breeze tonight and we'll see more cloud moving in. Now the showers likely to stay a little bit further west, but we still could clip one or two. Temperatures tonight much milder than last night, 8 to 12 Celsius. So for tomorrow morning, a largely dry start. Again, the showers widely staying towards the west, but we still could get one or two drifting further east. They could be quite sharp. Still some sunny spells though, and temperatures still very mild for October at 18 Celsius. It is going to stay quite unsettled for the rest of this week. Some showers around, breezy too, but the temperatures still mild.
Well, that's all from me. There's plenty more on our website and social media channels, including a look inside the forgotten shopping centre running under Waterloo Station. Victoria will be here with your evening news. Until then, from all of us on the Lunchtime team, have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.
could tell she'd had it tough.